What's up, sports fans? It's your man D back. Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. All right, check it out, man. David Benavidez. Yeah, I want to talk about him right quick. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. So check it out, man. David Benavidez. Now, I hear a lot of people talking about David Benavidez now, especially since Charlo come out with, what he'll do to David Benavidez, this, that, and the third. And then he starts making all of these weird demands and stipulations on getting a fight with him. You gotta be 20. You can't be 25 and under. You gotta take the vaccine. Okay, ridiculous by Charlo. I will say that. However, I want to talk about David Benavidez and how people are beginning to talk about him concerning Canelo, him concerning Jermall, Charlo, Caleb Plant. Here's the thing with a guy like David Benavidez. I don't think he deserves anything. What I think David Benavidez deserves is to work himself back up. Hey man, you don't just sniff cocaine and lose a belt. You had a championship. You lost it to sniffing cocaine. Okay, he was younger. He made a mistake then. He came back and he got his title back. So you faced a mistake. You lost the belt, the opportunity that a lot of fighters never have, never receive that chance. Some that are even good enough, but because of politics, they never get the chance to get that title shot, to capture that elusive title. And you had it and you let it go because of cocaine. And then, so David Benavidez got himself back into the ranks and he won his title back. A second chance at the title. Defended his title. And then on his next fight, lost his title again on the scales. Lack of discipline, lack of focus, lack of dedication. I don't want to hear that you're focused, disciplined, and dedicated if you're sniffing cocaine and you're too fat to keep your belt on the scales. People say, oh, well, there were stories behind that. Bro, look, we need to stop making excuses for these fighters. If you're fighting at a weight class, keep yourself in shape in between fights. Whether it's a fight on a short notice or what have you. You're a champion, so conduct yourself as a champion. But that's two chances this guy has had. And he basically gave his belt away. David Benavidez deserves nothing. I think that he's an extremely talented fighter. I see what a lot of other people see. And I think he's extremely talented. He hits hard. He has fast hands. He's tall. He has a good frame, good reach. So what he does in the ring, you have nothing to do but admire what this young guy can do in the ring. But also as a fighter, he's not showing discipline. You cannot be losing your belt on the scales. David Benavidez deserves nothing. Nothing. We don't need to start talking about David Benavidez as if he's getting the short end of the stick or someone's not doing him right. He's done boxing right. All of you fans, wake up. This was a champion that let you down twice. Remember that. Because if that's a champion that you don't like, or if it's a champion that you don't advocate for, you're not going to do anything but dog that champion. You're not going to keep putting him up as if he deserves this. He deserves a fight with Canelo. He deserves a fight with Caleb Plant. Another title fight, and he gave away to. What Jermall, Charlo, or anybody else has to do concerning David Benavidez. First off, nobody has to do anything concerning David Benavidez. No one. Not Plant, not Canelo, not even Charlo. Charlo shouldn't have ran his mouth and then come back and say all of that dumb shit. I'm not really subscribing to that. However, no one has to subscribe to David Benavidez. He doesn't deserve anything in this sport. It needs to be talked about that he needs to get his act together. I think we need to keep a clear perspective on David Benavidez before we start making him a boogeyman. You're no boogeyman. You will not be a boogeyman until you can perform and show us that you will be disciplined. Furthermore, who have you beaten? Your best win, you are right there. You know, these people are talking about Jermall Charlo and the things that he said. Okay, I agree with those things. Jermall Charlo's out of his mind. You don't make stipulations. I'm not even going to get into that. Well, how far along, or how much further along is David Benavidez supposed to be than Jermall Charlo? Both of these guys were champions. At least Jermall Charlo still has his title, right? At least he was disciplined enough to keep his title. But both of these guys only have one good win on their record. David Benavidez, people, has one good win on his record. One. Anthony Dirrell. This is not a guy who's been out there beating the hell out of everyone. What are you guys giving him monsters credit for Jleon love? I mean, guys, come on. We need to keep things in perspective about all fighters, not just David Benavidez. You know, all fighters. I like the Ronald Ellis fight that he's going, if he takes this, you know, this fight he's supposed to be getting. It's a good, decent fight, but Ronald Ellis is not the greatest opponent either. He lost to DeAndre Ware, who was just recently stopped by Matias that, you know, had that unfortunate incident with Dadashev. So, again, like, listen, guys, it wasn't Matias. I'm mixing that up. But anyway, DeAndre Ware was just stopped in his last fight. I mean, that's Dirrell's best win, which Dirrell being Benavidez's best win. Like, this is not a guy who's out there, you know, being lights out like young Teofimo Lopez. This guy can't even keep a belt. He can't even stay disciplined. So let's keep things in perspective when we talk about David Benavidez. You're not a boogeyman if you're too busy losing titles, okay? He's no boogeyman. He won't be a boogeyman. First, he has to perform for us. Show us he can do it against the valid opponents before we start calling him boogeyman. Second, he has to show us some discipline before we start calling him boogeyman. Before we start putting this guy on a pedestal who's not done much in boxing and can't seem to find a way to keep a damn title. He's not even losing them in the ring. Come on, people. Let's keep the same energy about all of these fighters. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep the same energy, and I'm going to expect you guys to do it as well. David Benavidez doesn't deserve anything. And y'all know how I always end this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.